The door at the edge of breath 60 seconds. That's all. Not an hour, not a day, not a chapter, just a minute. The final minute. What happens to the soul? In the moment just before it is no longer you, the ancients did not fear the last breath. They feared what happened after it. But in recent years, we have begun to ask, not what happens after death, but what happens in the dying itself, in that strange twilight, between the final breath and the body's stillness, the moment before the mind lets go, the second before the soul steps through a door it cannot return from. Is it silence? Is it memory? Is it beauty? Is it terror? What if the deepest truth of your existence is revealed not in life, not in death, but in the 60 seconds in between? Chapter 1. The moment time slows. In the final moments of consciousness, time begins to bend, or perhaps it simply lets go. The linear sequence that once marked your hours now becomes a circle, then a spiral, then something else entirely. The body grows cold, but the mind becomes sharp. In some stories, the dying speak to those already dead. In others, they see a light. In some, they remember every moment, not as a reel of film, but as a single moment, full and bright, containing everything at once. The Buddhists call this the clear light. The Egyptians called it the West. It is not a place. It is a moment of release. And in it, time does not end. It is absorbed. Chapter 2. The mind that watches itself. As the body prepares to stop, the brain becomes a mirror. Not of thoughts, but of the observer behind the thoughts. In clinical death, some report floating above their bodies. Others see their lives not as scenes, but as truths. I was cruel, I was kind, I wasted, I loved. These are not memories, they are revelations. What if in those final seconds, the self is not extinguished, but stripped of all lies? What if the mind's final act is to introduce you to the version of yourself that has been waiting quietly your entire life? Chapter 3, Biology and Mystery, the Final Storm. Science tells us, in the moments before death, the brain floods with energy. Neurons fire, memory centers awaken, endorphins surge, and something like clarity opens. To the physician, it's chemicals. To the mystic, it is the soul lifting the veil. Perhaps they are both right. Perhaps the biological process is the vehicle through which the sacred reveals itself. The storm before stillness is not panic, it is preparation. And the last light of the brain is the first light of something else. Chapter 4. The breath that follows the last. What happens the moment after the last breath? Not in hours, not in days, but in the next breath that isn't physical. Is it silence, or is it a kind of listening? The Taoists speak of a breath that is not air, but awareness, a current that moves not through lungs, but through the soul. The final breath may be exhale, but the soul inhales. It drinks light. It tastes memory. It fills with what was never touched by time. This is not breath in the biological sense. It is being. Chapter 5. The mirror without glass. In the final minute, you meet something unexpected. A mirror, but not made of glass. It shows not how you looked, but how you lived. Not your name, but your essence. And there are no words, no defenses, just a recognition so deep it feels like returning. The Kabbalists speak of the Shekinah, the indwelling presence. In that final reflection, some say it is the divine. Others say it is you, as you truly are. Before shame, before title, before forgetting, the mirror does not judge. It simply reveals. And in that revelation, something unlatches. The last lock falls open, and the door appears. Chapter 6. The door that opens inward. It is not a door you walk through. It is a door that walks through you. For some, it is a tunnel. For others, a garden. Some see loved ones. Some hear music. But all who glimpse it describe one thing: light. Not the light of the sun, but the light of truth. Truth so soft it does not blind, and yet so full it dissolves all falseness. This is not the light of answers. It is the light of belonging, of being known fully without shame. And for many, that is the hardest part. Not dying, but being loved in the moment you can no longer pretend. Chapter 7, The Ones Who Wait. They say no one dies alone, even if no hand holds yours, even if no voice calls you by name. The soul is greeted, not always by ancestors, not always by gods, but by something, a presence. Maybe the child you once were, maybe the person you were meant to be, maybe the love you gave that still lives somewhere in the world. They don't speak, but they are there. Witnesses, keepers, beings who waited for this moment, not to guide you, but to receive you, and in their presence, you remember what it means to have never been alone. Chapter 8, The Threshold Between. This is the edge, where breath is not breath, where time does not tick, where the veil thins so gently you don't notice it leaving. Some call it the bardo, some call it liminal space. Here you are neither body nor soul, neither past nor future. You are the pause between heartbeats, and in this pause, the truth comes, not as thunder, not as voice, but as a knowing that needs no language. And when it settles, you are ready to step across or to return. Chapter 9, When the Door Closes. The door does not shut with a sound. It closes like sleep, like dusk, like the final note of a song. And when it does, the you that you thought you were is gone. What remains is presence, not as me, not as you, but as being. The mystics called this union the end of the self, not as loss, but as arrival. This is not the end. This is where you begin again, in a way you cannot yet imagine. Closing reflection, what the soul sees before the light. You will one day stand at that door, not because you failed, but because you were human. And in those final city seconds, you will see what mattered. Not the noise, not the roles, but the kindness you almost gave, the beauty you carried but hid, the courage you showed when no one noticed. In that final breath, you will meet yourself. Not the version others knew, but the one that watched silently from within. And perhaps then, the last door will not feel like leaving. It will feel like going home. If these words stirred something quiet in you, if a door opened somewhere deep in your chest, then hold this moment, cherish it. And when your time comes, may your last 60 seconds be not of fear, but of freedom.